All right, fellas. So if you've got a Craftsman machine, or any machine really, with front wheel drive, or even in some cases rear wheel drive, and you've noticed that the wheel adjusters, they just don't want to move. You go to adjust the wheels, and you can't get anywhere. You need like a hammer and a pry bar, and so we're going to go over that. In this case, it's an older black Craftsman, one of my favorite machines with the Briggs engine. This thing's a mess, so we're going to go over this whole machine, not in this video, but I will be going over this entire machine. And so this is the case that you'll find that as these machines are getting older now, but I think I like these. I think they're very worthy, so I rebuild them. This has got a high wheel in the back. It's kind of got fancy gray wheels. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to replace the front wheels. It's a front drive transmission. So these are driven wheels. They have plastic gears. And when the rust and the filth builds up in these things, because they're not cleaned, the inside of the wheels is not cleaned out where the gears are, the shaft is not lubricated, the machine is not serviced, the two things that happen, well, one is all of the adjusters get frozen, front and back, so we're going to go over that, but the wheels start to lock up on their shaft, and they won't spin, and as that begins to happen, the gears inside the wheel doesn't want to move, but the transmission does, and that's got steel gears, and it will wipe out all of the plastic gears on the inside. Scissor cuts paper, but not rock. Rock kind of like smashes everything, which is why I don't know why anybody chooses anything else, but I suppose whatever. So we're going to replace these. And we're going to take a look at that in a bit. I found a company that I'm working with, and I've used their wheels a number of times already. I like them. It's very inexpensive, fellas. So we're going to talk about that. At the end, I'll have all that information also in the description, so you can buy your own set. And so let's get started on this. Let's go over cleaning everything up, getting everything moving again, give you some tips on how to get it moving again. This one also has these wheel adjusters. Some of them are levers, and you kind of pull a lever to the side and you move forward and back, and it's got stops on it and detent. They all have like a detent on them. So this applies to that too. Well, however, on this model, it's got those little red handles that come up, and you kind of pull up, and then you sort of drive through the different detents, the different stops for height position. So these have a little bit of a particular issue, an additional issue, a little bit of extra cleaning, and a little bit of extra lubrication, right, to get those working again. Now, of course, I can't tell you how many times, fellas, I talk about Superclean and pressure washer and hose and getting everything clean. Look, before you can go any further, you got to get the crap out of the way. So it's not a matter of, Arch, can I just leave all the junk in the way and just, no, it doesn't work like that. And the other thing I often get is the comments of, well, you're using oil and grease that's attracting, all the dirt and everything. And look, you got to get the thing moving again. So we need lubrication, we need penetrant lube, we need a number of things. I have other videos on this as well, but this video includes replacing the tires or the wheels themselves. So let's get started on it, and I'll give you my tips and tricks. It's a pretty short video, and I think you guys will get something out of it. I'll see you guys in a bit. Now, I will give you a close-up in a minute, but you need to get these adjusters here down, and you need to get some kind of penetrant lube and then follow up with some motor oil. And once you get everything moving, right, you can blow it off, wipe it off, whatever you need to do. And then if you want to put a dry lube, you can put a dry lube in here, right, because these are friction surfaces where the adjuster is. And in the bearings, oil is your best bet. You're not really going to get anything else in there. Cable lube is nice, or chain wax as well in all of these spots. I think that's a good thing after you get the oil in and move everything around and you're able to pull these. So you want to get all that wiped down and cleaned off. And then, like I said, once it's moving, then you can put something else in there. I like to just use a bit of chain wax and everything, so I'm just going to spritz about a little bit of that in there, wipe everything up. We'll grease the shafts. We're going to put these wheels back. I do have a surprise, so I think we'll be replacing those wheels on this machine. And notice I'm touching everything, so I'm getting oil all over the whole machine. And that's why I'm doing this now, because once we paint it, we don't want to touch it for a couple of days. We want it painted and done and ready for a customer as soon as possible. I've already cleaned out in here, but we're going to run the wire wheel in that as well. All right, we'll be back. So as I mentioned, in here, you could put a bit of chain wax, or if you want to use more of a dry lube in that, chain wax will dry up like a grease, but if you want to put something in there like, I don't know, any kind of, good dry, really dry lube would work just in there. But everywhere else in these shafts, you're going to need some kind of an oil, and that's about it. Make sure that these gears are clean, that there's no debris stuck in them. You may have to run a screwdriver through that, blow everything off, wipe it up. Yeah, probably like a good, graphite or something in there. Same thing in this side. So I like to pull them down, because that way, with them down, I can get all the lubricants into this whole mechanism and pull it back and forth. Otherwise, you'll be fighting it. There's no other way to really get it in. So I think we're good here. All right, once again, same thing over here. I started off with my tranny fluid stuff because this was really raw. Get everything in, then oil, and then a couple of movements back and forth. This one was pretty stuck, but she's good now. And of course, we'll follow up with just a bit of chain lube on everything. And like I said, if you want to put like a carbon, a graphite or something else, great. Move this around. I'll wipe with the rag. Oh, that's much better, fellas. And it can drip and do whatever, because we're going to wash this off, so the residual is dripping all over my table. Get grease on here, make sure that's clean, make sure everything is spinning good. And yeah, I'll do the other side, and we're going to be wheeling this outside in a bit, and I'll reveal a couple of more tricks. All right, fellas, we're going to just take a kind of quick look. Here's the reveal. All right, that's it. That's all you can see. I'm only kidding, fellas. All right. Arch, where are you? You're off camera. I know, fellas. I'm grabbing a box. I said I had a little surprise. Actually, I have two surprises. Look, can't see it. Can you? Arch, what's in the box? Can you quit fooling around? Listen. All right, we're going to get to that. All right, hold on with the box. I got another surprise. I only have one bag left. These are the ones with the cleats on them, these red things. I only had one. Toro does this too. So let's just take a quick look. So I cleaned this bag up, months ago, I think. I started looking at some of the possibilities for these projects. It's a decent bag. It's actually in really nice shape. We'll get a closer look at that in a bit. We still have to change the oil. I got to put a little gas in it. Probably just going to do a quick test. Put a piece of cardboard over here by the muffler. Let it run for a little bit, and then kind of clean up a little, because it's got junk in it, right? So I'm going to let it run. Maybe I'll let it run in here for a little bit and get out. And then we're going to come back, right? And we're going to put the wheels on, right? I told you guys, these are nice wheels, right? All the information will be in the description. And I'll probably run a little bit of text over here. Arch, can we see the wheels? No, fellas, you got to wait, right? You got to come back for that segment. We're going to look at the wheels. I've used them before. I'll also put a link to that video as well. We're just going to pop the wheels on real fast, and yeah, she's going to be sweet. Somebody's going to get a really nice machine, so stand by for that. We'll be back in a little bit. I got a couple of things to do. Now, I already greased these up, so remember? You want to put a little bit more on. I mean, more on. Look at that. Sweet. And the old ones actually have gears on them, so we can use them on a cheaper model. Something quick, something cheap. And that's sweet. So there will be, I think maybe 2 other videos in this series, and so this thing was a mess when I got it. It's beautiful now, but it was a mess when I got it. But like as I mentioned in the beginning, I like to restore these. I like to fix these. They're very viable, very good, strong, well put together, well built, good bones. And this one needed a motor, right? And like I said, I'll go through that in another video. But we put a different motor on it. It was missing some stuff. Replaced the cables, and I even gave it a bit of a paint job, right? So I have some tips on how to do that, how to get everything cleaned up, and kind of get some paint on it and abate a little bit of the rust, stabilize it, and get it to a point where this is a machine that done this way, with the way I did it, with a really good motor on it, a little bit of paint and touch up, getting rid of some of the rust, everything gone over. This is a machine that somebody, if they took care of it, they'd have it for a really long time. I've done some of these machines, some of the older Craftsmen as well. They're 30 years old. So the question is, well, how long is how long is it going to last? Well, it depends, because if you beat it to the ground, right, and you don't take care of any of this stuff, it won't last. You'll kill it. People drive over stuff. They don't police the yard. They don't look for obstructions and things that are going to make the engine go blammo and the blade getting all freaked out and bent. They don't ever think to bring it in for service. And I think that will be changing. This is all on a budget. This whole video is on a budget. Everything that you can do on a budget, instead of spending a piece of crap lawnmower over $300 and up to $500, $600, $700. So here's just a couple of quick tips and what I do to get these things rolling and moving again. These are Fourtry wheels. You can find them on Amazon, and I got all the links and everything for you fellas. And they're very inexpensive, and they're nice new meats. They're going to get good traction with everything lubricated. It should last you. You shouldn't have to service it every year. You should service it, as a guess. It depends upon how dirty your environment is. And those plastic backing plates, if they're all cracked and broken or missing, you have to replace that. If you don't replace that, you may not even get a season out of it. But if everything's in good working order and lubricated properly, you won't have to go in there for several seasons. But at some point you will. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and you got something out of it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's build the channel together. Even if you want to unsubscribe later on, right? Give All Archer's Garage a shot and take a look at some of the other videos I have for you fellas out there. And it's just some of the stuff that's just sort of hanging out in the shop and doing stuff with old Uncle Arch. I'll see you guys on the next one. Archer's Garage.